Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I have to tell you is that I'm addressing you as Tommy Waller, an employee of the Center for Security Policy, and not as Major Waller, a commissioned officer in the reserve component of the Marine Corps. Now, why is it that I have to make that distinction? Well, it saddens me to say that if I were currently in an active duty status, I would have to refrain from speaking about factual information about this ideology, Sharia, the very ideology that threatens our way of life, because my words might be offensive. Ladies and gentlemen, I took an oath to the Constitution of the United States to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when those that take an oath cannot be taught about the threat to our Constitution, which is both foreign and domestic, our nation is in grave peril. Now, I've deployed as an active duty Marine to numerous theaters of operations. I've faced the global jihad movement on their turf. And yet I was never taught what animated those jihadists. Still to this day, if you attend a formal military school, you'll find that there's never mention of the ideology that animates our enemies. We speak in terms like violent extremist organizations. We never nail down the facts about what animates these organizations, or as Claire mentioned, individuals that subscribe to the ideology. I recently attended a school that was nearly a year long, a formal military school for commissioned officers at the field grade level. And in 10 plus months, we covered information operations for less than an hour. And our case study was the communist insurgency and how we conducted propaganda operations against it in Vietnam. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me how our enemies maintain absolute information dominance, but it makes sense if that's the curriculum that we have in our military's formal schools. I've been, up until this point, shocked and saddened by, and almost bewildered by the absolute void in factual analysis of our enemy on behalf of the national security community. And what we face today is tantamount to the military of the Cold War being prevented from studying communism. You know, being prevented from studying the ideology that they faced on a battlefield. And so it's my sincere hope that my generation and those that follow it can recover the courage that our previous generation had to study the ideology of the enemy. And like I said, I've been saddened and shocked and bewildered. I have to say that the Secure Freedom strategy, it gives me hope. I think it's the first step in our generation doing a major course correction. And my personal request, on behalf of the men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice to that Constitution, in defense of that Constitution, on behalf of them, my request is that we embrace this strategy, because we owe it to the generations that went before us and those that will follow us. The last thing I'd ask is that for everybody in the room, that we take a moment to think about that flag. The one that's behind me in this room was deployed with me on every deployment, and I only unfolded it in combat environments. It's been flown over the mountains of Afghanistan, over the city of Fallujah on September 11th, 2005, over palaces that Saddam once inhabited. And I never unfolded it on my deployments that were not combat tours. And I've learned something in the last year, that the fight is here. Like Frank said, civilization jihad is here.